Just a man and his wood. Just to clarify, I'm not sponsored or endorsed by Schecter. I'm not getting paid to make any of these videos. I just thought that this would be a good and informational short series where I go through and explain all of my guitars that I use and just kind of tell the history of them and kind of show you what's going on. And I wanted to start this by talking about my tried and true, my number one that I go to, and that is this. This is my Schecter SheDevil. See if it'll focus on this. Probably not. Anyway, I've had this guitar for years. Probably, let's see, what year is this? 2017? I've had this guitar here then for 9 years. This is one of the examples of a guitar not needing to be expensive to be a great guitar. And I don't know if all SheDevils are awesome. In the music industry, or in other industries, it's just kind of a running joke. You have Monday and Friday things that are built, and it's just a joke where whenever somebody goes to work on Monday, they don't give a shit, and whenever they go to work on Friday, they don't give a shit because it's the start of the week and the end of the week. And then you have Wednesday things, and this was a Wednesday guitar because everything about this thing is just excellent for me. It's dirty, shows some wear. I don't artificially wear down any of my instruments. I don't treat them like crap, but I let them wear naturally. This one actually hasn't shown much wear for how much I've played it over the years. I'm surprised that the finish is held up as well as it has. The bridge back here, it's showing some wear from where my hand goes, and it looks cool. I haven't done any modifications to this at all. It still has the original pickups, and the pickups are Duncan design pickups. They're not even like full-blown Seymour Duncans. They're not EMG 8185s or a headset or anything like that. Just stock everything except for the strings. Power slinkies on this. And I've tried using other strings, and nothing has the same sound and attack on this guitar as the power slinkies. And I use, you see right there, the pick. I use the Dunlop. This is a max grip 1mm. I use those, I have been using those recently, but for years I've also just used the nylon 1mm, little black ones. But this thing, it's a mahogany body, and it has a maple cap on it, but it's not finished. This is only one of two of my guitars that I have that's painted and doesn't show the wood finish. I would like to get at least 2 more of these down the road, and what I'll do with one of them is sand it off and then stain whatever wood is underneath, stain the maple and whatever it looks like, if it's figured or not, and then finish that over with poly or what have you. And I think that would be pretty cool. But this one I'm going to always leave alone. This is just my workhorse. It's always tuned in drop C. It does okay in other tunings, but it's just, there's something magical to me about this guitar. In drop C with power slinkies, it just fits. This is the guitar that whenever I throw it on, it just fits. My hand lands in the right spot on the neck. It becomes an extension of what I'm doing. This will be the number one guitar in my collection, maybe forever. It's actually tied with the number one spot, and we'll get to that later down the road as I explain the rest of the guitars. But this thing, I only bought it for, what did I give for this? I can't even remember. I don't think it was over $300. And regardless, it's not an expensive guitar. I have way more expensive guitars sitting behind me than this that I don't play as often. And this thing is just a daily picker-upper here. It's got an ebony fretboard and the red dots, fret markers, and then the SheDevil on the 12th fret that's in red. I always thought was pretty cool. Red binding too along the side. It's a fairly common guitar. I mean, you can find them. Still have the Grover tuners on it, which those work great. One day I'll switch those out because tuners wear out and you got to replace them so that they stay fluid and sounding good. But if I remember right, it's a 3-piece neck, but like I said, ebony fretboard. And I don't even oil this one. I mean, I will whenever I put strings on it. I'll put some lemon oil on the fretboard, just a little bit. But I found if you oil the fretboard of a guitar, you run the risk of it changing. and it's very strange, but it just changes. So I actually prefer not to oil the neck on this guitar because I don't want it to change. I don't polish the frets. I don't do anything to it really. I'll take some cleaner to the body every now and again because it can get pretty nasty with like oil and dead skin cells and shit like that. But also with the bridge, what I did years ago was I actually flipped it upside down. Bridges are set up with the saddles, which are these little pieces here. They're set up, they have different grooves in them, thicker and thinner, depending upon the string. And actually, this bridge is flipped upside down. So the low string actually has a significantly less of a groove on the saddle than the high string. And for some reason, years ago, I did it on accident. And I was like, whoa, something felt different. Something felt way better on this. And I realized that was it, and I've kept it like that ever since. I have a couple other guitars that are like that, but the action on it is really low. But I never understood whenever somebody says something has a fast action, because fast is that's just how fast a player can play. I set the action on my guitar as fairly low. Low enough that whenever you're playing it, you can probably hear it, even though there's a pick here, but I'm fretting down here so it doesn't matter, but you get a little string buzz if it's not plugged in, but whenever it's plugged in, that goes away. You don't hear it through the amp. But this guitar recorded Scream Therapy in its entirety. So if you listen to Scream Therapy, that's this guitar right here doing the work. And it was with power slinkies and the whole nine. Of course, it's a different set than what's on it now because Scream Therapy was, a couple years ago? So those strings long gone. And I mean, you can see the pickup ring right there over here. Broken and it's bulging out, and I don't care. It just has character. Screws are a little like not good. She's just a trusty old workhorse. This one, made in 2007. I love it. This is the workhorse, man. That's all I can say about it. This is my guitar that I use. And like I said, if you want to hear it through a Mesa Boogie, listen to Scream Therapy, because that's what Scream Therapy is this guitar on every single song. Through a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, 2-channel. You can even hear it just resonates. Maybe you can't hear that, whatever. It's a string through. You can see I put the tape with the date and the type of strings that I have on each guitar. That way I know when to restring it. This one I restrung many months ago, so it's well past due. But since I've been recording the new album, I haven't been utilizing the new strings on workhorse guitars, because the new album I did not use this guitar on, and I did that intentionally, as the new album is in drop A and this guitar is suited for drop C. There it is. That's the first series of what would be a 5-part series, excluded, of me and my guitar. Oh, and the strap on this, which some people might ask about, it's just a Dickies strap. It's a camouflage strap. Every other strap that I use is a Fort Bryan, and you'll see that in the future. They're all the same, and they're all set up the same, because I prefer to not have differences whenever I'm picking up a different instrument. I want them all to be the same so I can focus on playing and not focus on little details on the guitar. But this guitar here is just the exception. I put this strap on it 9 years ago, and it's just never come off. I don't know. This thing is a unicorn. There's things that are different about it that I'd never change on anything else, or I wouldn't have changed on anything else, and it just works with this guitar. If you want to learn more about the life of a musician, learn more about me, hit the subscribe button, like this video, it makes me feel good. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Stenosis Music. If you want to pick up some Stenosis merchandise or any of the gear that I use, the links are down below. And we'll see you next time.